and the gator rolls back over the top of my hand.
So pop loosen is in like they are dislocated,
Yeah.
or are they like completely cut off?
There was still some skin holding them
Okay.
to the back of my hand.
Wow.
They
They got sharp teeth. Welcome back to CF Podcast, guys. Kaya here, and we've got someone very special. We've got Tom Jones from Man vs. Wild from Discovery Channel, and also Auction Hunters from Spike TV. Dude, pleasure having you here, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And he's smiling because right before we started this thing, we talked about something, and we're going to get there. So I'm going to leave you in suspense. So we'll get there because I want to see that, whatever that was. I know I'm not supposed to laugh, but, dude, okay. Go and tell us about yourself because I'm sure some folks know you, but some people probably not.
Well, I started out just the film and television industry. I hosted the TV show Auction Hunters.
When was that?
That was starting in 2009 to 2016. I hosted Auction Hunters. Before that, I did wildlife, the animal wrangling for Man vs. Wild as a safety crew. You go out, you have no interaction with the host, and you just, in case something goes south, you need medical support, venomous wildlife support. You're there in case something goes down and shit hits the fan.
So you're like that guy who is the expert, and the host is just pretending to be.
Oh no, Bear Grylls is 100% legit, but if something happens to him and he's incapacitated, they need support staff that also knows what to do if he goes down.
Okay, so if he goes down, you basically jump on, you continue filming.
I go in there and remove, like, if he gets bit by a venomous snake, stung by something, and he becomes incapacitated, I have to go in there and take care of the wildlife situation and tell the medical support team, hey, this is what happened. This is what has bit him or stung him. This is how he needs to be treated till emergency medical services arrive to get him to the hospital.
I see. Okay, so you would say your expertise is venomous animals?
Herpetology, venomous snakes, exotic wildlife.
Okay. All right. So, and I want to get to that because you've got some stories. So you hosted the Auction Hunters.
Auction Hunters,
for a while. And you did some other TV shows too, right?
Yeah, I did Speed of Life. I've done stunt work. Van Damme has killed me a couple dozen times in his shows. Toby Keith has thrown me through bars, windows. I was a biker in Jack Ingram's Love You. I've been beat up, thrown through bars, tossed off buildings, shot, killed. I've got to see myself like die in a couple of movies like 5-6 times. It's actually pretty epic.
Is it true that in a movie you become a stunt person? They just kill you multiple times for multiple different scenes?
Oh yeah, you get really good at dying.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's pretty cool. So you got a lot of experience when it comes to television.
Yes.
Right. All right. Let's start with the biggest one, Auction Hunters, because I'm very interested in the whole snakes and the gators and all that stuff. But Auction Hunters, I used to watch this TV show called Storage Hunters, right? That's what
Storage Hunters.
Storage Wars. No, Storage Wars. That's what I used to
Yes.
watch. Storage Wars. And oh my God, dude, I was hooked on that thing. So Auction Hunters was even before that.
Yes, we were the very first of the auction storage unit shows, followed up by, I think there was 11 shows that copied us after that.
Okay. So, wait. So you guys didn't have it licensed, the idea or something? Like,
no, it's
registered? Very
interesting. What a lot of people don't know about the storage auction shows, it is not ran by the storage facility itself. The process goes through the storage facility. Because once your stuff gets repossessed or liened by the facility for not paying your note, they file the paperwork with the city and the state. Then it has to go through the process, and then it goes up to auction. The state actually controls what happens at that point because it's property of the state. And then once the notice takes place, it's posted in the paper, product goes up to auction. Then it's open to the public that anybody can go bid on to take care of the debt that's owed. No one can like copy that process.
Okay, because that's a standard process.
That
you
is
can't
a-
license that to
No,
yourself.
you can't license that even for film and television. And what we had done is we had script that said, "No, what? This is the process we're going to do. We're going to go to live public auctions, and anybody that arrives at the public auction, we're going to give them the option to be on the show or not." That's why during the show, some people would not sign the waiver. So some people had a blurred out face. They did not want to appear on the show.
That's right. This is your show or the?
That's our show.
Okay.
And then during Auction Hunters, my show, you would see us actual U.S. currency changing hands. And we would actually physically buy storage units with U.S. currency, and we would sell objects with U.S. currency because it was an actual business transaction. I would file my taxes, I would pay the dump fees, I would do everything. Really soon after that, all these other pop-up shows decided they were going to try to copy this process. But they said, oh, wait, this is already happening. We're going to do it a streamlined way. They decided that to streamline this and make it more affordable and quicker for making television, we're going to stage all these shows, bring in nothing but background actors, and like, hand me that bottle. I'll show you.
There you go.
This is the way. On the other shows, they go through a storage unit and pick this bottle up, and they say, this is worth $750. And they gave a brief description. Oh, this is recycled plastic, and this was made in whatever year. And I bet you I can get at least $750, maybe $800 for it. And they put it down and toss off to the side. You never see it again. But this little magical box pops up in the side of the window that is telling the American public how much of an idiot they are. And they say, that's $850. You take my word for it. I'm a low-rent crackhead bastard digging through storage units. And that number's going to stick there and stick in your head.
Yeah, because we see it. Like, I mean, I watch Storage Wars many times, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? Holy crap! This I don't know, like a bag, right?
But
$50, whatever."
They do that.
I thought that was like a little production thing because it keeps things interesting.
No, they do that because it's imprinting on the public. They're never bought an actual physical storage unit.
What? Like, okay. Okay, so you're saying the Storage Wars folks, they never buy it.
No, they've never
But
bought
they're
a storage
buying
unit.
it on the show, though.
It's all staged production because U.S. currency never changed hands. Watch a single episode and find one that showed physical currency changing hands.
Okay, let me ask you this question as a person who's very ignorant on the topic, right? I don't know anything about it. What if they don't show that part?
They can stage it any which way they wanted.
So
They would stage it because they would say, take my word for it. That's $750, $800. They go through the next trash bag and find another object, $600, $75. I can get this, and they would ramble off numbers all day long, and you're supposed to take that dude's word for it.
when you say you're supposed to, you're talking about as a consumer or public, right?
As the public watching.
All right, so they're guesstimating it, right? He's got a little bicycle in there. He's like, I could probably sell this for $100, and he's got a little, I don't know, a safe in there. Okay,
Yep.
that's probably $300. He's guesstimating those things based on the way I look at it as a person who doesn't know anything about this stuff. I'm like, okay, he's an expert. He's been buying storage units for years.
Correct.
And he probably has sold similar items many times over. So he's guesstimating that, not necessarily that he's going to get that. That's what I've always thought.
But at the very end, if you watch through to the very end,
You're right. How much, who won what, right?
who won? Who are you competing against? In the real auction world,
Yeah.
the real reality of the auction world, the only person you're competing against is yourself. You're not competing against 5 other buyers. You're competing against how much money you make at the end of the month to take home to your family to feed your family.
Okay.
There's no competition.
How was it different? Okay, so now that we're talking about your show, Auction Hunters to Storage Wars, how was your show? Like, tell us an episode.
Oh, man.
Just anything. Just like something, your standard, how did you guys operate?
We would go out, and it was actually pretty brutal. We would buy, on a standard auction, would be 5 to 7 units a day.
Okay.
And we would hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We would hit auctions are usually Monday through Friday during standard business hours of regular business. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we would buy storage units. Very rarely Thursdays and Fridays. That's when we'd go back and swoop through and go dig our units, unless we had a slow day. A lot of times, depending on auction schedules, you'll notice that some storage units always did like Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays, and they cycle once a month. So we had the schedule of all the storage units within a certain radius. We would plan it out. In a given week, we could buy 25 to 50 units.
Okay.
We played the law of averages. If you open up a storage unit and it's in a trash bag, the person evidently did not care about it. If it's in a trash bag, the odds are it's trash. If the person cared about their stuff and put it in nice boxes, it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Plastic tubs, it's probably pretty good. If it's in Chiquita banana boxes or used and kind of trashy, but it's a newer box, it was probably someone borrowing boxes or stealing out of the back of a restaurant, stealing boxes. If they paid for brand new boxes, it was probably pretty good, but that doesn't always work because if it was an insurance claim, then it was professionally packed, and that's where you get screwed. So you have to learn what to see and what to do.
So you guys still did the whole bidding thing on camera?
Oh, yeah, we bid through it. We'd bid against the general public. You'd go through. We'd buy them up. Sometimes that day, if we were super excited, we'd dug them, but sometimes not because we'd have to follow this, then go to the next storage unit facility and bid on that auction. We'd follow that auctioneer to 5 or 6 auctions during that day.
Okay, and then
the next day or later that afternoon, we'd come back and dig them. And I kind of felt bad for our camera crew because those dudes are freaking beasts. They would have to film every single storage unit that we dug.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So because this was auction hunters, who was paying for the storage units?
Alan and I.
Wait, so you were paying your own dime?
Yeah, because we got the profits.
I see. Okay.
That was our actual business.
And then they were just simply filming you guys.
They would film it, and we'd make they would pay us for being on film and television.
I see. So you still use your own money. So you're
Yes.
just doing business as usual. They're filming, and because they're filming you, you guys make some money.
Made some money off that, but the first couple seasons we didn't make shit.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this then. So I guess 2 questions. Number 1, those production guys ever try to like kind of set things up? Hey, let's make this exciting by doing this and that.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it? Okay, how was it? Tell me some of that stuff.
I didn't have time for that bullshit.
Oh, you wouldn't let him?
No.
So okay, tell me an example. Like, what do they do and you didn't let them?
Oh, they would
try to do.
We'd have a few instances like, well, this unit wasn't good enough, or we've burned 5 units and nothing was good. We need more excitement.
Which I understand, obviously.
I said, okay, I get it. It's from a business aspect, but it's gambling. Gambling and hunting and buying storage units, it's the same thing. It's not called winning every fucking time.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get your perspective because
like,
that's literally how real life is.
It's reality.
But I get their perspective too because they're like, man, I want people to stay on that screen.
Yes.
Right? And they want some excitement, yeah.
And I would try to explain to them. I said, they would do 7 units in a row, and they're like, we need to win. We need to win. I said, we have 20 more to dig. Something's going to happen. I said, and they didn't realize. I'm like, we just dug these 7 units. I may have spent 15 grand, 20 grand, and I may be up by 100 grand at this point, but it's all in smalls. They wanted a big win. They always wanted a big find.
So would they try to plant some stuff in there?
Oh, season 1 they tried, but they learned that I have no tolerance for the mouth breathers.
Okay, let me ask you a question on this one. Why were you so hard-headed on that one? Like, why didn't you let them plant something for the sake of production?
It's not honest.
Good answer.
I wasn't born that way.
Yeah.
I have seen the way the film and television industry works, and I don't care about them.
and I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
Because I really want to know about your experience in this whole television industry.
Yeah, and I would tell them I'd say, just like anything else, I'm gonna have faith in us. I'm gonna have faith. We just did one storage unit. We're up on the numbers.
Yeah.
I play the long game. I'm gonna buy the numbers we're about to hit. And they're like, no. And they would always, the film and television producers and executive producers and line producers, executive producers were really cool.
Okay.
The people at the top, not the ones right below the top, the ones at the top that actually, like the Gurns.
Yeah.
He always had faith. The Sharon Levy's and the people that were at Spike, the ones that were like, okay, making the calls to the bigwigs, they're a bunch of asshats. They're trying to be a puppet master, and they don't care about anybody they bulldoze in the way. They treated people like trash. Everybody was a disposable line item, and I knew that from the get-go. So I knew what I was to them. I knew I was a disposable line item, so I didn't give a shit. I said, if I know that I'm disposable to you, I really don't care about your feelings.
Yeah. No, I think that your answer is like, it's not honest. That's right there. Can't ask any more questions. It's not honest. It's an integrity issue for you, and you just, So how long did that last then? Because you know that they don't give it.
6 years.
6 years you were able to keep them like that.
Yeah.
That's good. That means you were finding stuff. So now that's my second question. You guys are finding some cool stuff in there, like something crazy, like antique stuff and cool stuff.
After
guns, gold. And,
oh my God.
Like cool stuff. Yeah, tell me, man. I want to know about some of the cool stuff that you found.
It was during the first week of production. I got to give credit to my co-host at the time, Alan. We bought a storage unit. They said, give us $1. No one would bid on this little small closet storage unit because it had a few boxes and some stuff tossed in the corner. He said the auctioneer opened up bidding, no one took it, and the auctioneers always do this. He says, $1, I'll pay the $1, someone clean out this unit. And Alan's like, I'll take it. So that auctioneer pays the $1.
Yeah.
We put our name on it. We go over there just as a common courtesy to the auctioneer. So it clears his books. We clean out the unit. And that's just a common courtesy to the auctioneer. It's like, no, we got your back, bro. You're always cool to us.
Okay.
We got it. And the producers threw a shit fit. I mean, you could hear the sparkles and dust fall off their little sissy backs, and they're like freaking the fuck out. They're like, oh, it's going to take so much time. I said, film it. You'll be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times a $1 unit turns into a gold mine. I said that on camera to him, and Alan's like, bro, thanks for getting my back. I said, dude, it's going to work out. And these guys were pissed. I said, roll the fucking camera just like that in front of Spike and everybody. And I was like, man, I'm going to die on this one.
Yeah.
Alan goes over, opens one of the 3 boxes. There is HO railroad trains, a whole set of them in there, and that's $3,500.
Oh, like
yeah. The die-cast train set in there from the 1960s.
Original.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was on the show, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, it was sitting there in a box, one of the 3 boxes on the floor, and it was on the show. That was one of the very first episodes of season 1.
You know, it's so funny. I don't know if that's pretty cool. I don't know if what I have is worth it. Like I have, those Traxxas, like those remote RC cars.
Or Traxxas.
Yeah,
RC
Traxxas,
cars.
like really cool. I have one of the big ones, right?
Yeah.
I have not used it for over 3 years, and it's from the one of the first one, early 90s?
Yeah, probably the early 90s.
Yeah.
Take that battery out, toss the battery, put a new battery in it, you'll probably run perfect.
Yeah, she runs. Yeah, when you put a new battery in it. So if I were to put my stuff in a storage unit, that car will be in there. I don't know if it's worth anything. I mean, it's probably worth a few $100s minimum.
It depends on what it is and what style and model. It could be worth some money.
It's definitely one of the big ones.
Yeah.
It's a beast. Like, I'm talking about full metal, real suspension,
Yeah.
everything, right? And it's from the original, like.
Yeah, the original early Traxxas models.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying that, like, I haven't used it. It's just sitting there. So if I were to put some stuff in my storage unit, that wouldn't be one of my valuable items that I would take with me. It would most likely be in a box I'd forget about.
People do that all the time.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing about storage units that people forget is they put stuff in there, and over time you forget.
They forget. Likewise, dude. I find
Out of
stuff in my
sight,
house.
out of mind.
Yeah.
6 months from now, a year from now, they're like, why am I paying this? I'm just going to let it go.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That is true. So you were there for 6 years. You
Yes.
did that stuff for 6 years, and you, like that railroad thing, whatever, train thing. You've had those hits, big hits like that. What's your biggest hit that you remember?
The biggest hit I remember was a storage unit up in Fresno, California. I had bought a room full of just beat up reloading equipment and those cardboard tubes that the like barrels full of brass, and this was early 2000s.
Reloading for like ammunition?
Yeah, ammunition
Okay.
reloading equipment in Fresno, California. I mean, this guy had it all set up, a bunch of junk tools and lawn equipment, and I was like, okay, I can fix all this up. I think I spent like $1,100 on this unit. I said, this is going to be an easy flip. I can do some stuff. And I saw some big Kit Kat bars of recycled lead in the back. So he was evidently casting his own lead. I was like, dude, we got this. I bought that unit for $1,100. And as I was cleaning it out, I had some of the people buying the equipment off of me as I'm there. I'm selling it. I had got my money back before I even loaded my truck and trailer.
Okay.
And I get back to the reloading gear and the workbench. I'm taking the workbench apart, loading it in my truck. I go to grab these big reloading Kit Kat bars of melted lead. I'm putting the first 5 up there. I grab one of them and just wrench my back. Back goes out, pop a rib. I hit the ground, gasping for air. I'm like, what the damn hell? It's a solid bar of silver.
Ooh.
22 pounds.
How much was that worth?
Well,
22 pounds.
22 pounds of silver. Just to put it into perspective, the 5 of them paid for my house and a few other things.
Wow, that was from a storage unit.
Storage unit.
Was that on the show?
They would not air it on the show because it was during the pilot season, and that was right before. That's when I was on my own buying them, and Alan was on it. We would often go separate ways so they could see how we did stuff separate, and because a lot of times Alan and I would divide and conquer because we weren't like on paper business partners, but I would say when we first hooked up, Alan would buy stuff that was like more of the furniture and stuff that I wasn't into, and I would buy guns, hardware, tools. And if I got a storage unit with furniture stuff, and I'd say, hey, call Alan up, he'd be at the same auctions. I'm like, hey, bro, do you want to split this unit? We'll split this unit, and you take this stuff, I'll take this stuff, or we'll sell it together and split the cash. We end up doing that hundreds of times, actually. And we end up working more together than not. But during this pilot part, they didn't want us to, they wanted to see how we did on our own.
Okay.
So I bought this one on my own, and he was at the auction a couple blocks over doing that one. And they filmed it, but they didn't want to air it because they're like, there was some stuff in there that they had family issues with. I tried to return a Purple Heart and some other military stuff, and the family rejected it because they didn't like the old man because they didn't think the father left him anything. And the inheritance was all in the storage unit. All the kids had to do was come clean it out. And
So you gave them medals?
I called them and told them that I'm like, hey, before I told them there was silver in it, I called the family. I said, hey, we called up to the front. You never keep pictures You never keep documents. You never keep anything family related. There's no value to it.
Yeah.
You return it. If you have any kind of heart or fucking soul, give it back to the family.
Yeah.
They've already lost the storage unit. Give them back their family heritage and memorabilia.
Yeah.
Don't be a piece of shit. Give it back.
Yeah.
I would always put a box of stuff together, organize it, return it back to the storage facility, and they would call the owners of it and return it. Before I had gotten everything done and told them there was silver, and I cleaned up, found stacks of like Vietnam documents, his war medals, everything, put it all together, went up to the front, and I said, hey, can you call this family, come back? And there's a whole filing cabinet full of all kinds of stuff.
Just gave it all back.
I said, they need to come get this. I will give them this, pictures, photographs, books, everything. I said, they need to come get this. So the guy calls him up. He's like, Ton, do you mind if they just come get it right now? I said, I want them to come pick it up now. I'm going to give it to him. And he calls him on the speakerphone. And they, no joke, these ungrateful little pricks were like, screw that guy. He never left us with anything. He wasted all of our money. And he said, all he left us with is a storage unit that had some debt on it, and we just let it go.
Really? The kids said that? Wow, that's sad.
So all they had to do was pay the 2 months back rent on it and go clean out the storage unit, and they would have had thousands of dollars in silver.
Dude, I'm going to look it up. Okay, what's a pound of silver today? I'm just going to look it up. All right. 1 pound of silver. Silver price worth. As of February, 1 pound is worth $272.
Now do 22 pounds times 5.
Oh, you're putting me in a really tough position here right now, man. 22 times 275, let's just say. $6,000, dude.
Yeah, now 5 bars.
Ooh, each one of them are 22 pounds.
Yeah, each one of them was.
All right, let's do this. So, oh yeah, you're looking at over $30,000.
Yeah. I was able to put the deposit down on the house, and I was like, okay, we're good.
Wow, that is a good buy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Apparently he left him something.
Oh, yeah, and he left him more. There was inside, as you were cleaning up his workbench, I would grab the nuts and bolts that were on top, and there was silver dollars, change, there was gold bullion.
Oh, wow.
I ended up, after clearing that unit, I made, I think it was about $140,000 total on that unit.
That's why more people are doing this whole auction thing, right?
Yeah,
like, especially after
suck.
storage wars.
I didn't hit it like that all the time. On average, I'd make 3 to 4 times my money back on a storage unit.
But people also don't realize that it's so much work. You got to clean it and do this, all the paperwork, and then trash it.
God.
Right? It's got to be a lot of work. So
It is not easy. You got to know the network, know how to get rid of stuff, know where to buy, know where to sell, dump runs, storing this stuff, because the worst thing most people that get into it become hoarders themselves.
You're right. That makes
and not
sense.
everything that shines is worth bank. And all of a sudden, if you start getting into this, I've seen it time and time again. People would get in the storage business and they think, oh, I just looked on eBay. This is worth $700. I said, it's only worth $700 if someone's willing to pay it. Off it for $500. Get rid of it. If you've already made your nut back on the unit, sell it. They're like, no, I'm going to wait to get $700. Now it's worth nothing because no one's paying for it.
You know, people are greedy, man. That's just literally in our nature, right? So
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Be honest, don't be greedy.
Yeah.
Two things. How hard is it? That's why I was successful at the business, but not successful in the network.
All right, so pretty cool story. Auction hunters. So you left that, then you got into poisonous, venomous animals like gators and snakes. Okay, I want you to. Okay, were you always into these things, or did someone just offer you something and you got into it? Like, how did that work?
Okay, I was always into chasing wildlife. I was always into checking out nature, wilderness, wildlife, survival, growing up in the Mojave Desert. Surprisingly enough, being born and raised in the Southern California Mojave Desert on the backside of Edwards Air Force Base, I spent more time hunting and fishing than most people ever did in their childhood. I grew up in an area of public land, and people tell stories of growing up in the South or in back east where they can ride their bike to the local supermarket and pick up 22. I grew up in California, and I would ride to Safeway with a Ruger 1022 strapped to my handlebars and literally get ice cream and a box of 22.
Wow.
That was in Southern California.
What year was that?
That was all through the early 80s.
That's pretty cool.
And we grew up that way. My dad, working at the military base, he worked late nights, second, third shift. And they were like, we would go up to the aqueduct, go fishing, or we would go hunting. And I would chase snakes day in, day out. I became obsessed with venomous snakes, creatures of the desert, anything that was out at night, because even back then I was a fat bastard. And let's be real, in the Mojave Desert, it's hot, and when you start to smell bacon grease and you're the only person out there, it's you. Let's be real. I'm like, moon, bright, desert's lit up, I can survive, we're good. I go out, and the only animals out are venomous snakes and other creatures that bite, so I learned to work with them. Yeah.
All right, so, okay, I mean, you never handled a snake before. Now you see a snake. How did you start to learn to handle them? Did someone teach you?
Yeah, growing up in the small town we did, it was the other people out there would chase snakes, and you'd learn from the older kids and other ranchers and farmers out in the almond fields. They would pick up snakes, gopher snakes, Mojave rattlesnakes, and they would teach you what it was. And we're in farmland. Back in the day, it was all farmland and almond orchards and produce and apple orchards, kiwi farms, cotton farms, and they taught me what everything was, and I started to pick it up, and I found it exciting. So every time we'd go out dove or quail or pheasant hunting, after we were done with our hunt, I would go chase snakes. It was something to do. I loved it. Instead of sitting at home, being indoors, like, you can either sit at home with mom watching I Love Lucy, the long, long trailer, which I'm not going down that road. Hell no. I'm going to go out and chase snakes in the desert. Or I can grab a fishing pole and go drop a line in the aqueduct and catch some catfish. I can go hunt dove and quail.
I'm pretty sure you've been bitten before.
A few times.
Tell me your first bite.
Coach whip, Western coach whip snake, non-venomous.
You've been bitten by a venomous snake before?
I got sprayed in the face by an African ringneck spitting cobra.
Ooh, where was that?
That was on a film shoot. That went south. I spent 6 months blind in my right eye and 4 months blind in my left eye.
All right, well, we're just going to jump straight to that one. Okay, tell me about that story.
We were filming on a film shoot, and a unexperienced
What TV show is this?
That one I cannot disclose because of legal reasons.
Because you got hurt and stuff?
Yeah, I got severely hospitalized.
Just tell me, I won't tell him. I'm joking. Yeah, go ahead, man.
The animal wrangler was unexperienced, and they decided that it was a good idea. She wanted to prove that she can handle snakes, and after the animal was safetied, removed it from the cage, and I turned around after clearing the room, said, look, I turned and right across my face.
Wait, where? I want to paint a picture for me. So you were in a room?
Yeah, filming.
Filming, what were you exactly filming?
A show.
Okay, so you can't even tell that part. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. And so you're in a room. In a room is in like a...
in a studio, and there's a safety ring. When the animal's being filmed, the animal's dead center. You have a handler about 10 feet out.
Okay.
Me, main handler. 5 feet out from that, backup. Then another 5 feet out from that, backup handler for safety.
Yeah.
Just anything
happens.
Caution.
Okay.
Filming, just everything safety, especially with anything spitting venomous cobras, ringneck spitting cobra. And things went south. Actually, during the filming, everything was perfect. It went great.
They were just filming the animal?
Yeah, it was just filming the animal.
Okay.
We safetied it, put it away, she was butthurt because she thought that she was not allowed to be a lead animal handler because she was female. And no, it's because she was the most unexperienced person in the room.
Okay.
And so after the animal was safetied, she decided to prove that she could handle a spitting cobra, which we had no doubt she could. But during that set, experience comes first. You have to work your way up to lead.
Yeah.
Pulled the animal out. Hey, look, guys. I turn around and right across the face.
Okay, that's the part I want to know. So you are standing there doing nothing?
Take my face mask off, taking gear off, checking cameras, making sure everything from footage was good, seeing if we had to reset.
And she's holding
She went
the cobra?
over, pulled the animal out of the safety cage, hooked it, said, look, I told you I can do it. And what do? You turn and face her, and now the cobra's facing you, and now
How
the
far?
cobra is about 15 feet. The cobra now looks at
15
you.
feet.
Yeah, the cobra looks at you. Now you're face to face and goes, and right across my face.
15 feet, though. Man, that's because I thought it was like right in your face. So 15 feet is a good distance.
It went right across my face.
Okay, so what's the initial, like, did it just like burn? Like, what happened initially?
It felt like battery acid. I put my hands over my eyes like this and started screaming, and they started trying to flush my face, and then they pulled my hands, forced my hands down off my face, and the outside capsules of my eyes were stuck to my hands, and blood started rushing down my face.
What?
And
So you're saying your eyelids?
no, the outside capsules of my eyes. If you look at the red, yeah.
Holy cow. That's crazy. Okay, so you're bleeding from your eyes.
Yes.
So spitting cobra is like that. The venom is that powerful?
Yeah. It's a digestive enzyme that eats tissue.
That's what it is. I did not know that.
It's just a protein. It's an enzyme just like saliva, but modified protein enzyme that digests tissue.
Wow. Okay, so that happened to you, and it got into both of your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so go on. So you're bleeding.
They started flushing as much as they could. They put capsules in my eyes and started putting flush bags into my eyes, rushed me to the emergency room, and it was chaos and pain until they dosed me so much that I passed out.
I'm surprised that cobra just like standing 15 feet away, just like spit.
I'll show you a video.
You have a video of it? I can't
Not
wait.
of me, but of the one that did it.
Okay, I can't wait to see it after the show. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it. All right.
Yeah.
So you go to the hospital. There you pass out because they drug you so much, whatever.
Yeah,
So
and
what's the recovery like?
I woke up and imagine holding a white sheet over your face.
Your eyes open.
Eyes open.
Both of them.
Both of them wide open, holding a white sheet over your face.
So you could kind of see or not at all?
Shadows.
Okay, so what did the doctor say? What was happening to you? Did it just like...
They called South Africa to find out how to handle it. They said they usually remove the victim's eyes.
remove the eyes?
Yeah.
So that those eyes are no good. They're dead.
And I said, I'll write this one out.
Okay, so you wrote that one out, and how long?
I've had a few operations, and it started to come back little by little over time. Then they did a couple procedures. I still have floaties and spots. That's why if you see me shoot competition, I'll have to ask what the numbers out are on the steel plates because I cannot read them. So I have to memorize the sequence.
Wow. And still from that event.
Yeah. And it happens.
What happened to her?
They deported her back to her country, removed her grant, and she lost her scholarship to her university. And
for that event.
Yep.
That's ego right there.
Yeah.
So it's not about anything else. It's ego. And that's sometimes, sometimes ego is good, right? Sometimes it kind of serves you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't serve you, just like that. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a show that you can't talk about. And have you been...
The alligator?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you got... So I was going to say, have you been bitten by anything else? Was the alligator we were talking about. Initially, when we started this podcast, we were smiling and laughing.
Yeah, because I'm never going to be a hand model.
Look at that. So your hands All right, so go ahead and do what you did with your hand.
Yeah, my hands are a little bit. Here, listen.
What? Every time? Ooh. Okay. So why? Okay, tell me about the alligator attack in your hand.
I was called out on a wildlife rescue in
Is that a TV show you can talk about?
That was not a TV show. I was doing wildlife rescue.
Oh, just a random rescue.
I ran the wildlife services as growing up, as one of the things I picked up doing when I wasn't filming TV shows and working wildlife on TV sets. I ran a wildlife services. People that smuggled animals, got animals in that couldn't handle them anymore. I would go out and remove them from the facility or a bad situation, placed them in homes or facilities that could care for them. I worked with them, and I took care of them, no charge, and just placed animals. One day I got a phone call about some gators being in a swimming pool at a party, and they needed help removing them. So I went to this location and to remove this 3 alligators from a swimming pool that had a dance floor put above it.
Was it in Florida?
No, Southern California.
Okay.
Rich people that were partying it hard, and they were like, okay, we're going to put a dance floor because we have more money than common sense. Saltwater pool, built a plexiglass dance floor, smuggled in some gators, put them underneath so everybody could dance above a glowing pool of lights that had alligators in it. And then someone took pictures and told a friend and told a friend, and all of a sudden law enforcement found out, and they needed someone to come remove them. And they said, well, we got to call an expert, which is short for we got to find someone dumb enough to get in there and try to get this shit out. I'm like, we got a dumbass. We'll call Ton. The first 2, we unbolted the plexiglass section. I removed it. First 2 went great. Gator swam by, tail grabbed, slipped it up on the floor, jumped it, grabbed the mouth, electrical tape, folded the legs back, electrical tape, slid it off to the side.
You're not alone.
I had a spotter just in case I fell in. They would do not much.
Okay.
But, yeah. Everything was going goodish. But on the second one, the dance floor was getting pretty wet. The plexiglass was getting pretty wet, and I told them, no, please, no flash photography. Because, let's be realistic, I'm not small, and it's going to be like a fat guy's slip and slide. It's just going to be horrible. So, I'm already having reflection issues, already having eye issues.
Yeah.
The gator swims by, tail grab, sling it up. As I go to jump the gator, I see a flash. Someone hit me with a flash. One hand around the mouth, one hand directly in the mouth. Gator immediately rolls, and all 3 fingers pop loose. And the gator rolls back over the top of my hand.
So pop loose as in like they are dislocated,
Yeah.
or are they like completely cut off?
There was still some skin holding them to the back of my hand.
Wow.
They
got sharp teeth.
Yeah, they degloved and broke the fingers loose, and this ring finger popped pretty much completely off. Crushed my middle finger. That's why it's so pretty.
Wow. And that's permanently like that? It's just staying like that?
No, it pops.
No, I meant the top part of it. Like it's
that's
bent like that?
They try to get it straight.
Okay. That is, yeah.
That's as good as it gets, but
Yeah. Ooh. What do you...
It just pops.
Yeah, that is... And that hand as well?
No, that one's from doing other stupid stuff in wildlife rescue, and
Well, what's that from?
the tendon pulley that covers the top knuckle is completely blown out, and that's what happens if you don't get it fixed back. That's from years of stunt work, wildlife rescue, and convincing people to leave an establishment that are being disrespectful to the situation.
That's crazy, dude. Holy crap. Okay, so you've gone from the venom, like obviously auction hunters,
Yeah.
to the venomous snakes and the alligators. So you just play with these exotic animals, let's just say. And you spent a lot of time in like reality TV TV shows, movies, and all that. How is that life like? Like, I hear it's very cutthroat. Like,
it's like getting an enema with battery acid and broken glass.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like an environment that not many
Toxic.
people can handle.
It is very toxic. It's very cultish.
All right. So, have you been in the newsrooms before?
Oh, I've been in that toxic environment. I've sat there in newsrooms. Well, they will call people like me in to do a special or talk about wildlife.
Okay.
And we need an animal specialty guy. And you'll sit there and you will sit them and listen to them how they do their breakdown. And you'll hear how they want to do a breakdown about the news. And it's very nauseating how they do that.
So, okay. And I want to know that, right? So, in a newsroom, they are reporting the news. You know, we've got, obviously, right-wing news, left-wing news, like the center folks, and all kinds of different news channels with different ideologies, right? So it really comes down to what is really the truth. We don't know, right? People are just talking. How was it, based on your experience, how were they spinning the news? Were they just being honest, like how it was reporting, or were they kind of spinning things?
There is no true news. I've sat there in more than one network, more than one broadcast center, watched them, heard them, because they think, oh, he's just the stupid animal guy, or he's just the stupid wildlife guy. And they're like, oh, can you bring in one of your animals to show us? And while they're actually openly discussing this, they're like, look at him. He's just one of the animal guys.
Really? They just talk
they
while you're there?
While I'm there, and they have people looking at, I'll bring in a gator, I'll bring in a serval, a caracal, a bobcat, would walk in with a tiger. And because I have my appearance, they completely think, oh, he is licking the windows of the short bus from the outside. And they don't, they're like, oh, we're going to have this conversation right here in front of him. And you can actually hear how they spin the news and direct it to mess with the human emotion.
How was that?
It was quite amusing to hear how they would get a breakdown of a situation that would be happening, and the people that make the call will say, no, that is not impactful enough. We need this story. We need a really heart-filled story about an animal. Give us an animal, or a family meeting, or a soldier home from war, or a reunited story next to a mass shooting or a school shooting. We need a real heartwarming. We want their emotions to be so heartwarming and just like the deep, warm, cozy feeling, but then we want it to be gut-wrenching and sickening. We want that really sharp emotional swing. So they will stack sweetness, gut-wrenching, followed by sweetness. They want the emotional roller coaster to go back and forth, and like change that word to something more impactful. And you'll hear these conversations in the newsroom where they will change the whole narrative because the words are not impactful enough. The word unprecedented is such a bullshit line now. They ate that shit up for freaking months. Unprecedented. This is unprecedented. No, it's not. You've beat the shit out of it. Nothing's unprecedented anymore.
Yeah, you do hear on the news, like, it's crazy. Like, you almost think, like, dude, man, are we in a simulation? What's going on? Because they, across the board, local and national, they're using the same talking points. Like, even words, like, specific, like you said, words. Like, all over. It's crazy.
It's, no matter what network, left, right, moderate, it's all done by whoever is in charge of the network. It's all passed down. These are the notes. These are the notes from headquarters. These are the network notes. These are corporate notes. These are the words we have to say. If you want a paycheck this week, this is how we, as a broadcaster, you are going to feel today. You have to, if you want a paycheck, this is how you're going to feel, and this is how you're going to react. If you remember the news, watch a news broadcast from the early 80s. They were very straight-laced, straightforward. Yep. This is what happened. They would tell you.
There'd be no commentary.
No, not like, oh, that is so cute. Oh, my God, I love that. There's no style file. No one gave you a shit about what perfume you're wearing.
You're right. I do remember that. Like, people would be like, hey, today, this the wildfire happened and 5 people died and the car crash, a family of this, whatever, and just kept
Here
moving.
is the facts. We're moving on to the next set of facts.
That's what happened, yeah.
Now it is, we are going to show you emotional swing. We're like, and everybody's like, here's the story. Oh, that is so sad. Oh, now moving on to this. We're like,
why do you think they were doing that?
Because that's how they want you to feel. They're controlling how America feels. That is their whole purpose. And they will, inside that room, as someone they perceived as a complete idiot, they didn't care because they thought I was an idiot. But I'm listening to everything they're saying. I've done it for years because I've been in that environment. I will listen to these conversations time and time again. They will say, this is how we want this perceived. We are telling them how to feel.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they will come out and straight tell the broadcasters, this is how we want these people to feel. You need to get that message across. Do your job.
No, I mean, that's a sad reality, unfortunately. And social media kind of changed that a little bit because people are able to, like we do YouTube, a bunch of people do a bunch of different, their own reportings, and that's got its own issues and benefits too. So you were in the, obviously, this TV industry, let's just say, right, field for years. And what happened? When did you get out? How did you get out?
2016, the network pushed back, and I said, go fuck yourself.
On what were you filming?
Auction Hunters.
2016.
Yeah, they decided they wanted to go a different route. It was Sharon Levy. She would walk by you and tell you what kind of piece of shit you were. Literally, like, you know what? She's like, I own you. Go away. I'm like, I'm working my ass off, and she would just be so rude, disrespectful, hateful. And she was the head of network at Spike. She was in charge of programming. And I remember one day, right before we got canceled, she walked by. She said, hold my purse. I got to go piss. Do your job. And threw her purse at me. We were at the Guy's Choice Awards. She's like, I own this place. I'm like, she would treat me like shit. I was like, I know you're not supposed to be rude to a lady, but show me a lady, I won't be rude to her.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not a lady. I'm like, it got to the point where it was so toxic. When they come to you and say, you know what, we will do anything and everything to support you, but once you're no longer good to us, we don't know you. That's the stuff they would say to you. So I took that attitude. I'm like, is this worth it? Is this worth the stress? And I would come to work every day just gut-wrenched and twisted. And I remember my dad passed away media day. SHOT Show 2015. I got the phone call. I was debuting a new air rifle that I helped design. I got the phone call that my father had just passed away. I was on the phone with him, and I said, love you, Dad. I'll talk to you in a little bit. He said, I'm going to take your stepmom out for lunch. I'll give you a call later. Tell me if you see anything cool. So, all right, Dad, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Went back, and I was doing an interview with Nissan about their Titan at the time, their diesel Titan, and debuting the Air Force Texan. And some of the network people from Spike were there, and we were doing a bunch of other stuff. 45 minutes later, my stepbrother calls me. He's all dad-coded. He was the paramedic that responded. I remember that phone call, and I'm talking to my stepbrother, Jay, and I'm like, bro, what the hell? He's all, I've been working on Dad for 30 minutes. He coded. He found him in the bathroom with the phone in his hand and a comb. He's all, you're the last person he talked to. Had a heart attack, hit the tub. He's gone. Gut-wrenched. And I'm at a loss. I said, what do you need? He's like, we're on the way to the hospital. Talk to my partner. Hands over the phone. They're all, hey, Ton, we got this. We're going to do everything we can. I said, do you need me there now? He's like, there's nothing you could do. We got your mom, your stepmom, and your brother. We got everything taken care of. I said, I can be there in a couple hours. I'll get a helicopter. I'll get a flight. I'll figure it out. They said, no, what? There's nothing you could do. We're going to wait, get everything situated. Handle your shit. Just, we will let you know when and if we need something. We understand. There's just nothing that you could do at this point. it's going to take a little bit to get everything situated. I said, all right, I'll be there within 48 hours. And I put down the phone, and I'm gutted. And to look around, and all you see is camera crews staring, just pointed at you. And I'm like, dude, I need a second. Just got a phone call. My dad passed away. And they're like, the people doing the interviews, the media, other than the network, they're like, oh, dude, you know what? You can take your time. I said, no, let's go ahead and do this. It's going to get my mind off it. We're going to wrap up this shoot, do the interview, finish media day. I want to get everything. So I finished out media day, called the network. They're also, when do you think you could be back at work? So, that's how much.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
My dad just passed, and you just asked, when do you think you could be back at work? That was Spike. Paramount. That's the network. Viacom. All they cared about was when you're coming back. The production company themselves, the Gurns, were awesome. They're like, dude, whatever you need, anything you need, I will be there for you. That's not the network. That's the production company I worked for. They were like, dude, we got your back. Take whatever you need. If you need anything, I'll come get you. Whatever you need, I am there 100%. That's the production company. That was the difference. The production company, he's like, dude, we're there for you. We have you, whatever you need. Do you need us to book a flight, a hotel? Do you need food? Do you need anything? Do you need a driver? We'll drive you to Phoenix from Las Vegas. We'll drive you to Sierra Vista. We'll do whatever, anything and everything we need. What do you need? I said, I don't know. He said, we'll fly out there right now and be by your side. I said, I just don't know. And the network's like, I get a text from them, would be a week good enough?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm sorry about your loss, man. And terrible situation, especially when people are not sensitive like that. And, those guys are all looking for their bottom lines, right? Is that the one when you kind of decided to leave?
That was pretty much it. When they called back and they said, we don't feel like your heart's anymore. I said, surprised?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're not going to go your direction. We're going a different direction. I said, and? Like, we're canceling your show. I said, good for you. And they're like, well, we could end your career. I said, would you like me to act like I give a fuck? That's what I said to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, excuse me? So do you know who you're talking to? I said, yeah, and do you know who you're talking to? Because I still don't give a fuck. I said, I was nothing before this show, and I could die nothing, but I'll still have my self-esteem and my respect. I said, you have no soul. And I just hung up on her.
Damn. So, yeah, that sucks, especially putting all that effort into it and ending like that. It just shows, that's just how life is. Life is very unfair like that, and you just got to keep going. So you got out. Did you get into the guns then? You're in the gun industry now. You're with the Firebird targets now, right? So how did that happen, all that?
I've been in and out of I've been in the gun industry pretty much my whole life. I've been shooting. I was taught by my grandfather how to shoot guns at a very young age, using a Benjamin Sheridan 20 caliber air rifle that he bought out of Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah. I meant, I guess, like working.
Yeah. I've always been I've worked with cold steel all the way back since I was 16, 17 years old, working at a knife store called Merlot's Cutlery as a side job. Voodoo Tactical, known Steve my whole life growing up in Southern California with tactical gear and bags. Always worked with all these companies, not officially, just as a guy that was working in the wildlife industry and the film and television industry. We needed gear bags. We needed good knives, good product. Way before social media and influencing became a thing, there was always someone that needed to know where to go and get good product and good goods. I would meet up with these companies and take them to either the survival industry, the medical industry, the guys on the set, the crew, the actual workers that are getting down and dirty using gear. And like the best place to get it is not at your medical supply store. Go to the gun industry. These guys are using the military is using this gear. I said, this is where you go. I would introduce people. So I was always in and out using all this gear.
So how did you, so you're with Firebirds right now.
Yes.
And I know a couple of years ago I saw you at the IWA in Germany.
Yes.
You were with an
Air Force,
which is the air guns. Badass stuff, by the way. And you're not with them anymore?
No, I was with them for 6 years. I helped develop a whole line of pre-charged pneumatic air rifles.
You were talking about that you helped design some of that stuff or develop them, right?
Yes.
So you were with them for 6 years, and then you left, and now you're
the director of operations and marketing at Firebird Targets.
Firebird Targets, yes. And you guys got those little poppers, right?
Oh, yeah.
You hit them, you can feel them from 25 yards, right?
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. How's that going?
Absolutely love it. A little packets of happiness at the end of the range that go bang.
We are gonna do some stuff together.
Oh yeah, we're gonna blow some shit up.
We're gonna exactly. So how do you like the event so far, GOA stuff?
It is really nice. Really liking it. First year. Today was actually a really good day to actually have a day to sit down for media
in a cool environment.
Yeah. Let me tell you, didn't sweat. It was inside, indoors. Yeah. It was a really good day to get everybody together, media and industry, to have one day to do business.
Yeah.
Instead of having to fight the crowd. That was such a blessing.
Yeah.
Now tomorrow and Sunday, the public's going to come in, and it's going to be a really good event. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good times, and honestly, the panels and all that. So there'll be I think it's going to be a very interesting and a very positive way weekend for the GOA and the folks. So awesome, man. Dude, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, hearing your story and what happened to you. You've survived some freaking gnarly stuff. So, and glad to have you on this side with us.
Thank you, brother.
I mean, you're still doing some dangerous kind of stuff, like the, when I say dangerous, responsible, but blowing stuff up, but differently. Yep. It's not venomous animals.
I like to make sure that every manufacturer has a target at the end of the range that they can shoot out of mine.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Ton Jones, how do they find you, man?
FirebirdTargets.com and Ton Jones Official on Instagram, and Firebird Targets USA on Instagram.
That's awesome. Guys, check them out. Firebird Targets and also Ton Jones Official. That's it. You guys take care. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.